everyone, this is Virginia. Welcome back to my channel. So today I just wanted to update everyone on how my first semester at Korea University went. I know it's about time for the applications for GKS, so Eugene wants to help explain too. But yeah, so I wanted to explain kind of like how the first semester went, what it's like going to a university in Korea, specifically for masters, and hopefully that can help you guys if you are deciding to apply to do a master's program in Korea as well. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to talk about was the classes themselves. So for the classes themselves, we got to sign up for them. I think it was about like a week or two before they started. And this semester I was lucky because I was able to choose 3 classes that were offered entirely in English. So it was much easier for adjusting to taking classes in a new country, especially for me. And all of my professors were so nice, like really chill. They were chill, but at the same time, like they still have standards and like expectations that they expect their students to meet, which was a little bit daunting at first because I've never done a master's program before. But I would say it took me about 2 weeks, and then I adjusted pretty well. One thing to remember is that a master's program in Korea is still a master's program, so it's not just like playing games and like having fun all the time. Like there is a lot of studying, and I think one of the hardest parts for me with the adjusting was all of the readings that we had for each of the classes. So I took 3 classes, which was 9 credits, and that's like the normal amount I was told, and each class would have like probably at least like 5-ish hours of reading before each class. So our classes only met once a week, thankfully. So I did have like 3 days a week of class. It was Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So on Monday and Wednesday, I would use that time to do my readings, and like if there were any homework assignments, to do those. So one of my classes, we had to like write discussion questions based on the readings that we did and then bring them to class to discuss. So I would work on those, and then one of my classes we had to do like a discussion post online, so I would work on that. Yeah, so it kind of just depends on your class. It also depends on your major. So I'm doing media and communications, so a lot of what we read was about like culture or media. We also watched a lot of films and like analyzed the films, which I thought was fun, and I got to watch a lot of films that I hadn't seen before, which was interesting. And yeah, so that's how the classes went. Lots of homework, but the professors were really nice and accommodating. Okay, so next let's talk about the students. So my classmates were lovely. I loved all of them. I made lots of new friends, so I'm excited to see them again after winter break is over. I'll say that actually most of the international students in my program were also GKS. So we had that in common, and we're all from like lots of different countries. So it's like interesting getting to know people from around the world. Everyone's really nice and helpful. We study together sometimes, or like we'll help each other out. So yeah, that's the students, really great. And as I said before, I really loved all 3 of the professors also. Okay, next I'm going to talk about what it was like going from working full-time to being a full-time student. So I know when people apply for especially like master's or PhD, people are coming from different places in life. And in my program, I would say it was kind of half and half. Like half of my classmates came directly from their undergrad or language year after undergrad, and then the other half like had been working before. And actually most of us worked in a different field, not in the media industry, so it's been kind of new for most of us. And I would say that the main difference is it's not quite as structured as it was working full-time, because like working full-time, like you go in at a certain time, you leave at a certain time, and during all those hours you're expected to be doing work. But when you're in grad school, it's kind of like you have however many classes throughout the week with that number of hours. So that's like your set schedule, and other than that, it's up to you to time manage and set like a plan for yourself for finishing all your assignments and readings, everything like that. There's like pros and cons to that because it can be hard to find like a balance between working like on your schoolwork and then relaxing. And it had been 5 years for me since I came out of undergrad, and I had kind of forgotten about how like school never really leaves you. Like you're always thinking about it, even on the weekends you'll be stressed about stuff, whereas for work, like at least for my job, I could like kind of only worry about it while I was there. And when I got home, it was like I didn't have to think about it anymore, so that part was a little different too. You're kind of always thinking about like future assignments or like presentations. It's kind of like always in the back of your mind. So it's important to set a schedule for yourself and like know how to manage your time well. Otherwise, you might get overwhelmed because there is a lot of reading. And at first, you might think like, oh, it's not like something tangible that I'm going to be turning in, so like maybe I don't have to do it. Like maybe you'll think that, but actually it's very helpful to do the readings. And it does depend on the class, but most of the time if you don't do the readings, it can be kind of difficult to participate in class. And in my department, all of the classes required class participation or discussions, so you really had to be prepared with the readings. Next, I'll talk about some of the main assignments that we had this year. So most of my classes, 2 out of the 3 classes, we had a presentation at the end. So we presented what our final projects were going to be about. The presentations, like for me, it wasn't that big of a deal because I've been a teacher for 5 years. So the presenting, like the act of presenting wasn't the problem. It was more like the content and planning out what to say, and then the time limit. So I did like practice a couple times to get the timing right and everything like that. But I would say like there's not that much pressure with the presentations. Like everyone else is in the same boat. Like everyone's worried about it. So no one's going to be like judging you too hard when you give the presentation. Like don't worry about your classmates. Of course, it depends on the professor. Some of them are more lenient than others. So it would depend on your professor. But overall, like presentations aren't that big of a deal. The other main things I had to do were I had to make a film for one of my classes. So I made a short film. It's on this YouTube channel, which was really fun. It did take a really, really long time to edit. Each minute took about an hour. So it was over 20 hours of just editing alone. But it was really fun and rewarding. One of my other classes, we just had a final exam, which was just like basically writing 2 short essays. That one was pretty difficult because you don't really know what the questions are going to be. And we also had a time limit, so that was a little stressful. And then my other class, we had a 15-page research paper we had to write. And I never written a research paper in the social sciences because I did humanities before, so it was very different. So I had to adjust to the different formatting and everything like that. So that one was probably the biggest struggle for me, but it ended up being okay. And I recommend to talk to your professors if you're struggling or you're confused or you're not totally clear about one aspect of the class, because they're very accommodating and they don't seem to mind like if you're asking genuine questions and trying to improve your performance. So I would recommend, if you're not sure about something, feel free to email your professors or maybe set up a meeting with them. Yeah, so that's like the main advice I would give for your first semester. That's about everything that I wanted to share, but if you have anything you're curious about, especially regarding like the first semester or the master's program in GKS or just in Korea in general, just leave a comment below and I'll try to answer them, okay? So thank you guys. Thanks for watching. See you next time.